Howdy goons, you all liked the last Backlog tips video so much that I thought I'd make another one. The last one was about a month ago and I didn't want to do a bunch back to back and just overwhelm you with too many tips, so you've had some time to sit on my last 10 tips, so let's set you up with just another 5 more. Stick around for tip 5 though, because I'm going to show you how you can add an entire extra hour into your day. I know, 25 hours? Impossible. If you're wondering what makes Nimzy so qualified to make these Backlog videos, well, I'll tell you. I beat 100 games this year, and you can see my reviews of them on the end card. I put them all on a playlist. I'm not done reviewing them all yet, but I have beaten 100 games this year, and yeah, a lot of people don't even have time for that much. Finding time. In the last one I said it's important to make time to focus on the completion or the play of your games. I said that I schedule a bit of my playtime, so I play at least a couple hours every day. Hi Bo, say hello to the camera. You're on candid camera. If you're someone who struggles with finding the time to play something, like you already tried making time and that just didn't work out, declaring a free or personal time that is just for you in your game, and that's, failed, then it's time to learn how to find time with what you have. First, if making time didn't work because you're a parental unit, offer to exchange some time with the other parental unit if there is one. Like you get a couple hours to play your 30th Pokemon ROM hack, and then you later watch the kids for parental unit 2 while they go do something that's just for them. Work together to find the right time. Next, the other way that you can find... I love you so much, Bo, but you're so stinky. Stop eating rubber bands. Can y'all just behave when I'm recording? Next, the other way that you can find time is learning to identify down moments as they happen, as they become available. We all have these itty bitty little tiny windows that you can use to play something given that you have the equipment and the means. Like I use a Shu 20 V32 to play my retro games. It's an Android based handheld, so it sleeps and wakes instantly. I just shoot, and I showed that before already. There you go. Using something like that makes it super simple to squeeze in the time to play anywhere. It's something that can really help you maximize those small windows. Like say you're cooking and waiting for the oven to ding, play something. If you're waiting for the microwave to ding, play something. Learn to play while walking, play while pooping, on break, before bed. Just remember that these may seem like small windows, but they do add up over time. 10 6-minute windows turns into an entire hour. Alternatively, you could just get up out of bed earlier instead of looking at your phone for half an hour to an hour. Depending on if you do this before you go to sleep too, you just created an hour to 2 extra hours of time. I also do the cooking, so I take micro play sessions a lot throughout the day while I'm cooking the dinner. This is also good if you want to do some more reading too. If you couldn't tell by the glasses, I do read occasionally. Remember when that used to be the nerd stereotype that just having glasses meant that you read a lot? But I do read sometimes. Like, I'll have a small physical book, like currently I'm reading this one, Little Book of Mushrooms. Pretty good, pretty interesting stuff. Really nice art in it. And if I'm not reading that, I've got something digital on my Kobo Clara, and it's just like the Shu 20. It wakes up instantly, so it's super easy to get in and out of books. But, I mean, you also have to pick the right games too. Like, a single stage in Kirby is often less than 5 minutes, so you can chip away at that too. So 5 minutes is a lot of time in Kirby, for example. Join a club. Book clubs aren't just for books. There are all sorts of media clubs that you can do. There isn't a reason that your single player games have to stay single player, that they have to stay a solitary experience. You can start a game club with just you and your friends. You will all agree on a game to play or take turns picking games. Then you'll play for like a week or 2 and come back. Then you'll share all your thoughts on the game. Make sure you pick up a notepad and a pen so that you can keep notes. It'll make it easier to remember it when that time comes to recall that stuff. I see you eyeballing my breakfast. Stop it, you little freak. If you don't have a meeting place like someone's house to meet at, you can always go to several free gathering places like parks and hiking trails and stuff like that, and just talk as you walk. You can also go to the library, and they have meeting rooms or the lounge that you can use if you keep quiet. Or in my case, we have a board game shop that has a room that can be used, or they have the room where all the games are being played, and you can just go back there and talk too. If you want, you can turn it into a podcast. That was something I did for a little bit. It was a little difficult for me to manage for a lot of reasons. I've thought about bringing it back, but it was hard to get people to just, actually play the games. A lot of people saying that they wanted to play the games and dropping off of them, or just opting to play something more recent instead of the retro games for the retro game club. There are other game clubs that you can join too, like Tech Dweeb. He has a game club for his patrons. Kind of funny for me to promote someone else's Patreon in a video, but Tech Dweeb's Dusty Game Society is them picking and playing through a game and then playing it. Then the viewers share their thoughts, and when Tech Dweeb reviews it, he shares their thoughts on the video too. These sorts of things can help you keep motivated because it becomes a bit of a responsibility. You're being held accountable for your game progress. If you don't play, you might look bad when you show up to the function and you don't have anything to say about Mario and Luigi's Superstar Saga. It's a pretty interesting game. You should have at least a couple things to say about it. If you don't like the idea of playing other people's games rather than what you want to play, like you're worried that it'll distract you from your backlog, do it anyway. You might find that you actually like a distraction and that it'll also broaden your horizons. Like I thought I was going to like Klonoa, and now I know for a fact that I do not like the first Klonoa game, but it has made me curious about the other ones, and I have dabbled a bit in the other ones, and I just honestly wouldn't have looked at them had I not played that first one. Either way, afterwards I felt refreshed and ready to move on to the next game. Very ready to move on to the next game. Raise the difficulty. The way the brain's dopamine system works is it rewards you for doing things that are good for you. Eating high-calorie foods, exercise, sex, sleeping, and sometimes it rewards you for doing things that aren't so good for you, like drugs. But one thing that gives a big dopamine boost is overcoming challenges. The harder something is, the bigger the reward of dopamine you get from your brain. It gives you a big sense of joy and relief, and it makes you want to scream, "Fuck yeah, suck it." I can't yell. It's too early in the day. If you find that a game is no longer stimulating for you, then just maybe it's time to bump up the difficulty just a little bit. You should probably be dying at least 2 or 3 times a boss encounter before you figure out how to kill them. Like, there used to be a time and day when you weren't expected to beat a game the first time you go through it. So, you know, maybe embrace a little bit of extra difficulty and die a bit. Raising the difficulty might make it seem like it would make the game take longer, but if you're getting bored because there's no challenge, there's always the risk that you'll choose to not return to the game or just not pick it up again. You might switch to a different game and just never return. I experienced this recently with DK Bonanza. While I find the game fun and charming and a good time overall, I did eventually get bored. I stopped picking it up daily and just never returned to it. Good thing it was a rental from the library. That'd be an expensive game to give up on. A low difficulty one might just become boring to you, and the only thing worse than a bad game is a boring game. Lower the difficulty. It might seem weird to recommend this right after telling you to increase the difficulty, but there is situations that you should lower the difficulty instead. Conversely, if the thing that you're doing is too much of a challenge, your brain might get tired of you trying and failing. Your brain will still give you that dopamine reward for succeeding, or at least that big feeling of relief when you do. Then it'll remotivate you to improve and do better. This challenge is done, but there is always another one around the corner. If you're on your 20th death and feeling like you don't want to do it anymore, then consider lowering the difficulty or going and farming. If you're not enjoying the game you're playing, then why play the game? Just lower the difficulty and focus on getting through it, or consider dropping it entirely. But that's you can check out that tip in the previous video. Even finishing a boring game is taken as completing a challenge to your brain, so just, you know, boring is a challenge too. For example, my wife Blythe will sometimes play a game that she doesn't like when we played Sonic Forces. She'll talk about how much she hates playing it, but still wouldn't quit ever. Then when she was done, she was happy that it was over and excited because she knows that she'll never have to play it again. Finishing a piece of media isn't the end. It's the start of something new. It's a new chance to find a piece of media for you to finish. Maybe the next one is a sleeper hit. Maybe it's a well-loved one. Or maybe it's just another stinker. I know of a stinker. You're a big stinker, aren't you, Mr. Bow? Finishing one thing is an opportunity to start the next one. In my case, the difficulty of Sea of Stars is part of what made me lose interest. A big part of RPGs for me is being able to farm and being rewarded with progress for that farming. It's satisfying for me to get that number go up and then become significantly stronger and beat the challenge. But in Sea of Stars, the game is basically a no farming JRPG and the level cap is incredibly low. I think it's only 30. So it's constantly a challenge. So even if you turn on the many assistive features to make the game easier, it's still a slog to get through. I was enjoying the story, but after a while, everything felt like an immense effort just to get a single breadcrumb for a reward. You done? You finally leaving? He left because he realized that he wasn't getting any of my food. The final tip, the big one, the one you probably didn't think of. Meal preparation. What does cooking have to do with playing video games, you might think? Well, a lot, sort of. When I cook a meal from scratch, it can take an hour to 3 hours long, depending on what I'm making, because I can make some pretty fancy stuff. I can make some good food. Homemade pizza with homemade pizza dough takes a long time. I need an hour to proof the dough, and each pizza takes about 15 minutes to bake, and I have a small oven, so a minimum of 2 hours for pizza night. Pizza isn't a food that requires me to constantly babysit it though, but some meals do, and they can be equally time consuming. Time that could be spent playing games instead. Like, why be cooking all the time when you could be playing Cooking Mama? If you're someone who can eat the same meal multiple times a week with no issue, like the people I cook for cannot eat the same thing 2 days in a row. They can't eat the same thing like 2 weeks apart. But if you can do that, same meal multiple times a week, then consider just making your meals for the entire week on the weekend. Then all you have to do is just reheat them. Spending 30 minutes to an hour to cook every meal can just really stack up. Consider fast to eat foods too, like granola bars, cereal, a piece of fruit, sandwiches, stuff like that. You can also do this with other tasks. As an example, Mark Zuckerberg wears the same thing all the time because he says making a bunch of decisions can lead to decision fatigue, which is an actual thing. This means good, well thought out choices during the morning, but as the day gets on and longer, you make progressively worse and worse and less thought out choices because you spent all of your decision making energy earlier in the day. He might be a robot, but he does have a point with this one. Maybe not to the extent that you should dress like a cartoon character and wear the same fit every day, but make less decisions in the day so that you have more energy throughout. Doing meal prep is essentially laying out your clothes for the day beforehand, except you're doing it with food. If you don't want to make all the meals for the week all at once, instead prepare a meal that's large enough to have leftovers, then eat the leftovers for the next few days. A good option for this is stews and slow cooker meals. You toss everything into a pot and it cooks all day while you play games all day. Then you have enough food to eat for like 3 more days. Then you can add things like rice, pasta, and beans and all kinds of other stuff that will make the meals go further. But that's it for this tip video. Hopefully I gave your brain something to chew on. Don't worry, I still have another like 20 tips left. Remember to tip your Overlord. I take likes, subs, and enough coffee to kill an elephant. See ya!